Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream. I am your host Jeff Freeman, and right over here I got my co-host Jack Campbell. Jack, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Jeff. And hot, humid, and rainy Holland, Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's I got the fan on. Hopefully, I know I said that last time too. That it's up in the 80s today, about 80 degrees, and fortunately the humidity is a little bit less than it was before. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well, man. It's good to be back. I know it took a little time off over the holiday there, and we didn't have a couple of shows for a little bit. And everybody needs to take a little time off once in a while, right? I know our hardworking Jan Anderson and Linda Simpson out there, they never get any time off. They're always
They
working.
didn't get a break at all.
No, I know. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, they're always working hard all the time. Though, and I tell you what, honestly, the group has been growing in leaps and bounds, and it really has. I mean, we're like 5,800 members now. I'm completely blown away by that. It really has gone phenomenally well as far as new members, and they're coming on so fast and furious, and they have to go through and work so hard to figure out, because unfortunately there's a lot of scams out there, and we get a lot of people who, it may not even be people, but trying to join groups just to disrupt things and stuff like that, and they have to weed all that out. They have to go through everybody, and it's just a lot of work. It really is. And I tell you what, I got to hand it to both of them. That's just part of what they do, of all the work. And they don't get any time off at all. I said, you can take some time off. I'll try to help. Anyway, Linda and Jan, you guys are appreciated so very, very much. And I want you to know that. And you too, Jack, for do all the work you helped to do. Oh, now there we go. I was trying to get my, other screen here to have Facebook up, and I was clicking on it, it wouldn't come up, and then it just popped up just all of a sudden. I don't know what's happening there, but now I can see people. Hey, how you doing, Pam? Glad you're here, Pam, Anne Marie, Deborah, Michelle.
Sharon.
Yep, Sharon's here. Oh, thanks, Pam, on the memberships. I know. I'm completely blown away.
It blows me away to think of we started in the middle of last November where we are right now with members.
I know, it really is crazy. And I tell you what, it's due to the hard work of Jan and Linda, I tell you, and keeping things lively, and all of you and all the members. Because when people are looking for a new, a place to go that they can share and talk about, Oak Island or whatever, Skinwalker Ranch or beyond Oak Island, things of that nature, or even, Lost Relics of the Knights Templar, they're looking for a place that has a lot of posts where they can get some good discussion. And they contribute to that so much, and just so much. We appreciate them very, very, very much. Let's see who we got. Oh, we got Karen. Karen's over here on the Karen says, Linda, I found it this time. Ha, Karen's with us. Falbo, welcome, Karen. She's on the over on the YouTube side. And I wanted to say real quick too, if you're out there on YouTube, anytime you're out on YouTube, and you do have to have an account, but if you would click on that subscribe button for us, we appreciate it very much. It really helps us out a lot. All right, so Skinwalker Ranch, I tell you, watched it again last night, and again today. The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, episode number 5, which was The Ranch Strikes Back. And I tell you what, this, and the more I watch this show, I got to tell you, the more I watch it, the more I am so super convinced that this. I mean, I was at the beginning anyway, because I just like the paranormal, and I like things about, UFOs and things like that. I'm telling you, folks, there's some stuff going on out here that is just blows my mind. And I, these guys are really, yep. Thank you, Jan. Got that. There's some things going on that it's out of the norm. It's out of the norm. There's weird things happening there that are just out of the norm. There's no way.
You start convincing Travis of things that are going on.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we went through, a couple of weeks ago, we went through episodes 1 through 4, and I know I really rambled through those. I had 2 hours to get through 4 episodes, and I hope I didn't. I tried my best to not miss anything, but also not hurry too much through it. I know I got a little pressed for time at the end there, and I was kind of rushing through it, but I tell you what, there was just so much to cover. I mean, there's just so much going on out there that I thought really needed to be talked about. So, but very interesting. And then now we have one episode tonight so I can spend a little time to slow down a little bit and work on that. And of course, I got my pictures. So episode or season 2, episode number 5, and I put the phone number up there if anybody wants to give a call in and talk about the episode a little bit, or any of the episodes, quite honestly, this season, or something that may have occurred to you from last season. That's fine too. We can do that. Larry Mendoza. Hi, Larry. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad to see you there with us over on the YouTube. And Razor over on Twitch. Thank you, Razor, for showing up tonight. Appreciate you. So let's jump into it. I got my pictures, and of course, I always like to flash up the banner one right here off the beginning. So the Skinwalker Ranch, the banner there that they use for this season. And what I wanted to do is right off the bat, I wanted to talk a little bit about. They showed this at the beginning of the episode. They were talking about this anomaly. And this was on episode number 4 when they had the rabbi. Right at the end when they had the rabbi out there doing his chant, and right when they were wrapping things up, Eric Bard had seen this on his video of the thermal video that he had done, and you see this little circle right here. Now I do have a little bit of a video that I had taken. It's kind of funky because I had to hold my iPad and try to get it. I hate doing it. I got to come up with a better way to get those videos. But so happy I brought my pictures. Why is the chat on Facebook is not moving? It's way behind, folks. I'm sorry. I saw it. So happy you brought your pictures, and I don't know who said that. It just says Facebook user, and over on the I don't know why this Facebook is so
Sharon Thompson. I see Sharon. I see the name.
Okay, yeah, it's still stuck on Pam Block saying congrats. So sorry about that. For whatever reason, this is really going slow over here tonight. I may have to close it and reopen it. Anyway,
Linda says it's the same thing for her.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's really it took forever for it to go full screen for me. But anyway, all right. So you see this little anomaly, and I'll show mine my little the little video I have. Let me pull this back for a second. I want to show this because I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see, where did I put that? Should be right. Okay, I'm gonna have to minimize this. All right, let me bring this up. Oop. All right. So now I'm allowed to do a little bit of videos if I'm careful with my length. All right. So here's the video showing, and this is the little orb right here, this thing here. Now I'm going to hit play here, and you'll get to, let me back it up just a little bit. Okay. And you'll get to see this thing move. And you guys saw this, but I had to show you real quick. But you'll see they're talking about it right here. And there you see it move. See how it moved across there real quick? It just jumped all the, and somebody said, oh, it looks like a rabbit. Maybe that was a rabbit. Well, the thing of it is a rabbit, and a rabbit does have thick fur. And this is something that Jan brought up. She brought up a picture of this and showed us, and a rabbit does have thick fur. And during that, where that thick fur is, you cannot see the, it does show up blue, but you can see the ears and all that. The ears and the face does show red for the heat signature. Not all of it is completely covered, and this is a little orb that is completely blue, and they talked about that. That's what they were talking about in there. Perry said it was a rabbit. her Perry said it was a rabbit. Yeah. So but the thing of it is that it showed up blue. There's no red out there at all. None of the ears didn't show up. You don't see the ears in the orb in the picture, and I'll show that again real quick right here. You don't see the ears in there at all. There's no ears. But it did kind of move like a rabbit was hopping, but it's too high on the ground anyway. It was kind of floating above. You can see the grass, the vegetation down here. Anyway, what the heck was that, right? I mean, that was just a very strange thing that took place there. Again, one of those weird phenomena that takes place out there at the ranch. That definitely calls for more investigation of what's happening there. And something else too, I'm going to bring this one back up. And again, this is that still shot of the orb right here, which is a better look at it right there. One of the other things they were discussing at the very beginning of the show, again, they were looking at last episode 4, when they first did when they had the rabbi out there doing the chant. And during that, actually, I believe this was after the chant. This is, you can see there's these little images right here. Actually, the guy's walking over there doing an investigation of Homestead 2, the house. But this right here, you can see this red showing the heat, the red and the reds and the yellows showing all the heat that's happening in the area. The colder ones will be your blues going into your purples to your blacks. Okay. This is the house. Now, most of us know that when the heat of the day, your house gets very hot. Now, I'm not a scientist in this area, so, correct me if I'm wrong, but that house should not be showing that much of a cold spot with all this heat around it. What's that?
Even at night, it shouldn't show it that bad.
No. How long does it take for your house to cool down after the heat of a day, right? If you don't have air conditioning.
It was like I want to say it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock when they started this experiment, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So and here's another one. They did a close-up of it. They were talking about this. Why was that so cold in that spot right there? And right here in the black in the center of it, that's super cold right there. What's going on? I mean, what the heck is happening right there? They were talking about it being a possible portal or vortex of some sort like that, but I'm telling you, that's an odd occurrence right there for sure. And again, it's one of those things that needs more investigation to find out what's happening. So, let's see. Larry says, also to your point, blue equals cold. In the thermal image, an animal would be exothermic, red, just like the guys were when you could see them walking earlier in the scene. Yeah, there they are right there. You see how they're red. And then where it's really hot, it turns to white on their faces. You can see the face right there in these little pictures. That's, they're showing up very hot. And that animal would too. If that was an animal, and that's one of the things that I think Dragon said. He said, it's too cold to be an animal. And he's absolutely right. I mean, that's absolutely right for sure. So, this is what they captured last time. And these things, the temperature change that happened, and I showed this in the little video that I had for the episodes 1 through 4. It showed that temperature change happened within a matter of seconds, that it went from a yellowish to a blue in the area of right in this area here where you see the yellows. It changed that just in a matter of seconds. It went to blue. That's not normal. And
no, you did it right after he started to chant, everything changed.
Exactly. You're exactly right, Jack. Thank you. It was when he started the chant, that's when it changed. And the same thing kind of happened when they did the chant this time. The same kind of thing happened. Let's see. We'll get to that in just a minute. We're going to kind of follow along with the episode here as we go along here, but you're exactly right. Thank you, Larry, about that. Good point to make there. Oh, okay. Yeah, mine is still stuck. I don't know.
They say it's everybody's saying on here it's a Facebook problem. It's a Facebook glitch. There's nothing.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing that.
Could it be a reptile? They might show cold after sundown. I don't know. C. Fulton asked that question. Could it be a reptile? I don't know. I think a reptile is still going to I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, unfortunately, I'm not a person that, I'm trying to think of what you would call a person that works with animals or knows animals, studies animals. Somebody will pop up here. Probably Linda will probably pop up and tell me what that is real quick. Well, Facebook on my phone works fine. It's my computer. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing's happening on my computer. It's still stuck. The chat's not moving at all. The video's moving, but not the chat. So I don't know. Anyway. All right. We'll just continue on. We don't want to spend too much time on that. All right. So then they bring out this gentleman here, Stephen Wall. Now, Stephen was, I guess he was the nephew. Stephen is a nephew of Gwen and Terry Sherman. And he was on the ranch when he was a kid. And they brought him out to kind of go and talk a little bit about Okay, so I'm getting. Oh man, you're gonna herpologist and a reptile would slither more on the ground. Yeah, it wouldn't hop like that. It looked like that thing was kind of hopping along.
Yeah, it's not a snake or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We can relieve Jan of that.
Yep. So, let's see. What am I missing? I've got to look over here at the chat on. Let's see. Yeah, and I don't have names, so I'm not sure who's saying these things. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, they bring out. That's weird. It just popped up and said my internet connection was restored. Okay. I hope I'm still on the air. Is it still working? Jan loves snakes. We've had an ongoing joke with Jan and her snakes over there showing up in the garage.
I have been a pest. I admit.
Anyway, Stephen Wall comes out and they want to get his, talk to him a little bit about things he remembers about when he was there as a kid.
And, he had to be very young because he looks young in that picture.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be late 20s. He's probably in his 30s right here, I would think, probably. So yeah, it wasn't that many years ago that he was out there, and so they're riding out there, and of course Thomas is bringing him out to introduce him to everybody. And then it talks about how the Shermans they were only there for, I think, was it 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah, they were only on the ranch for about 4 years, and they came out there. They had big dreams of raising some cattle and doing some ranching out there on the ranch, of course. And they only stayed 4 years. And the reason they only stayed 4 years is because they got freaked out by what was going on out there. The cattle mutilations happening in the middle of the daytime. He said it had been 30 years. Thank you. The cattle mutilations that happened in the daylight of all things. And again, those cattle mutilations, I've read people talk about cattle mutilations from one end of the spectrum to the other. But again, you go back to the simple fact that you have a cattle, you go out to your field, the cattle are all over in one area, and here you find one that's dead, and there's no blood in the area. They've been parts of it's been surgically removed, and there's no blood anywhere. Organs missing or things of that nature missing. It's just, what else could do something like that in the broad daylight? I don't know. He was 6 years or younger.
Yeah, okay. I saw it. I just said that.
This one here just shows how they moved out of there. The Shermans moved to the ranch with a herd of rare, expensive cattle, but after all the mutilations and everything, they had lost 20. I don't know what it says there, but anyway, with all that going on, they were done. They were out of here. There's like, we're getting out of this place, and they left and they sold the ranch. Just too many weird things. This is where Stephen took them out to where there was an incident with some dogs that got killed on the ranch and freaked out one evening. And so he took them out to where the spot was out here. And he was showing right here, he's showing about how they were smashed. Now, when somebody said something about, disintegrated or just vaporized or something like that, I think that was Eric was talking about the fact that weren't they vaporized or something? He said, no, they weren't vaporized. They were smashed into the ground. I mean, what a thing for a kid of 6 years old to see. And they talked about the depression in the ground. And then around the edges of that depression were burnt, but not where the smashed, not where the dog was crushed, was not burnt, but just around the edges of the depression that was left. Wow. I mean, that's an incredible story. I mean, again, it's one of those things that, what would possibly do something like that?
I think it just got some kind of a documentation for it.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. A picture or two would have been great, right? I mean, something like that happens. But at the moment, they run out there. And of course, depending upon how they didn't have cell phones, obviously, and they weren't carrying a cell phone in their pocket like we do today to whip that out and take a picture. But man, I would have tried to record that. Of course, they're devastated at the time about their dogs being killed. So, your mind is not thinking, oh, let me go grab a camera and take a picture of my dead dog on the ground. I mean, makes sense. But anyway, just man, it would have been nice if there was some way that could have been documented. Here's a recreation. They were showing a recreation of the actual orb that he talked about it. He described what it was like. This orb that had done that and came down on the dogs, and they could hear the dogs howling and stuff, and then crying before as it happened. But here, this was a recreation picture that they had taken for that. So again, pretty devastating. They were also talking about he was taking them over to another spot. They were driving down the road, and he took them over to another spot here as they were going down the road. And this is when Eric talked about what he called the triangle area. So this would have been the Skinwalker Ranch Triangle area, where a lot of weird phenomena, a lot of weird things happen in this triangle area. And this happened to be right where Stephen had taken him out to and said, stop right here. And he was talking about something on the Skinwalker Ridge right here. Something happened in there. And they pointed out this triangle area. Now we're probably going to hear more about this. The first I heard about that. I don't remember him talking.
I don't
about
remember it either, but it sure seems to be, if he remembers that it's been going on for quite a while. And that's something they're going to have to really dig into.
Yeah. I want to hear more about that, about this area and the different types of things that they found there. Eric brought it up, and now I'm really curious to see just exactly what what kind of things they have seen in here. And they mentioned a couple there, but right. Yes, that's the thing that nightmares are made of. I'm sorry, what was that, Jack?
They must have looked at this before they started the show. Possibly.
Yep. Hi, Jenny. Jenny's here with us too. Hi, Jenny. How you doing? I know. She said I've missed you guys. I tell you what, I've missed being on. I really have. I was when I was out of town, and I was really jonesing about getting back, and I really enjoy doing this. It's so much fun, and
it is fun.
And I really missed coming on and talking with all you guys. I really enjoy that a lot. The interaction that we get. Now I got the phone number up. If anybody wants to call in and talk about anything, you guys can call. So anyway, that triangle area there, I definitely want to get some more information about that. Things that have happened in that area. So anyway, so the stuff that Stephen went through as a kid and then came out and talked about, I mean, that's just fascinating information. And again, we see so much talking about these orbs, some sort of an orb or a thing of that nature around ball of light or something like that. We saw that Travis, I think it was Travis and Caleb, had seen a square orangish type, yellow orangish type of light block, but he talked about it. Well, it was a rectangle. He talked about it being about a couple feet wide and about a foot in height, what they saw. And then they went after, and of course it was gone. And then here you got other people talking about seeing some sort of an orb or a blob or something of that nature. Just weird stuff. I mean, and again, goes back to, they talked to the guy, the general that they had on last week. And I forgot his name now. Darn it. But he talked about portals. I mean, they had actually witnessed portals. Now, I got a friend at work, and he's like, he says portals. Yeah, he's not buying the whole portal thing, but you got so many people talking about it and have witnessed it. I mean, are they all making it up? I mean, what else is happening? Alexander,
I can't believe a military guy would make something like that up either.
No, I mean, he was there with Bigelow. He was there investigating with Bigelow. So, if he was going to make something up, then they would be, I would have to think that somebody would come out and say, no, we never saw anything like that. Somebody else would have to come out, and it's, or at least you would be afraid of somebody would coming out and countering what you just said. So I got a feeling that that's, that really did happen. And I'm kind of one of these people who believe in that sort of thing. So anyway, so they bring out Guy Blocker, and he's a thermal imaging expert. And they want to go out to Homestead 2, and they want to recreate what took place out there at Homestead 2. What they did with when the rabbi was out there, Rabbi Ariel Zadok was out there, and they did his chant that he was working on. He was doing that. He was reading the passages there, and he was doing his chant. And that was a special chant that he had come up with, I believe. I thought they were saying that he had created that, or he had written that chant. And so many weird things happened. Of course, that temperature drop and all that. So they wanted to go out and they wanted to recreate this again, and actually this time bring more equipment out and really do a further investigation on this. So they brought him out. They brought out Guy Blocker because he being an expert with this kind of stuff. Hi, Brenda. How you doing? Brenda stopped by to say hi. Yeah, it was really good. That's why I couldn't wait to talk about it tonight. It really was. Yeah, Jenny's talking about it. It takes till midnight. Let's see, what did you say here? It takes till midnight to 2 a.m. for a house to cool down without air conditioning. I grew up without air conditioning, and I know, yep. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. And for that house to be that cold that quickly, and so much colder than the surrounding area, just does not make good sense. That's just not the way things like that work. So I agree with you. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that very much. I actually lived in Reno, Nevada for a while, and when it got late at night, it did get cold, but it took a long time, and it actually would get cold at night, and I'd have to get up and close the window. But it took a long time. It did not happen that quickly, and for them, it did happen very fast. All right, so they bring out Guy Blocker, and here's another shot of him as they were out preparing. Guy, I grabbed this picture just simply because this one they showed his name, but it didn't really show him that well, so I grabbed this one as well. So they bring out Guy, of course, the thermal imaging expert, and he gets out there, and they come out, and after they get talking. I love how Thomas is like, all right, so he's done talking. He's okay. We got the introductions over with. Let's get the gear. You jump in that vehicle. We're jumping in it. I love how he takes charge and gets everything rolling right here. He just, that's what he did in this scene right here. He's like, all right, you grab that. We're going to jump in here. We're going to grab your equipment. We're going to go and get us set up. So
I would like to know how long it takes him to set that up too. Just, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. I know. It's not something that's going to happen. I mean, it's
down in the dark.
A couple hours. It's going to take a couple hours to set all this stuff up. Yep. They went into Homestead 2 in the house there, and they set up these thermometers, and then they had this clock in front of it and stuff. But they wanted to get these thermometers set up so they could actually see what's happening inside the house as well. During their experiment. Let's see. Here's a question for you. What's the altitude? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, Larry was asking what's the altitude of Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know. Somebody could Google it real quick. I bet it comes up. Just look for the elevation. Well, because you got the basin there, the Uinta Basin, and so it's going to be lower in the center of it, where in the lowest part. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. We can certainly ask Thomas. He's going to be here with us in July. July 10th. Yes, thank you. July 10th at 2:00. He's going to join us. This gentleman right here, Thomas, going to be with us. I can't wait for that. That's going to be an interesting. He's gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about. We were hoping to catch him at the end of the season, but I'm not so sure now if the season's going to be done, because they didn't have an episode during the holidays there, so I don't know if it's going to be done or not. But hopefully, he'll be able to discuss almost all of season 2 with us. But anyway, so there they are setting up their thermometers, and then of course there's Guy getting his equipment all set up, ready to go. And here shows a lot of the stuff. They did have a lot more going on this time. Man, they really went all out to get everything going. Oh, there you go. There's your elevation, 5,095 feet. Thank you, or whoever that was. I don't have a name there, but thank you. Oh, that was Linda. Okay, had to be Linda, of course. So, all right. So there's all the equipment they got set up, and then they started. Now, this was really cool that when they started the chant recording. Now, this time it was a recording they had from the rabbi. So they ran this recording, and right as the recording was running, right toward the beginning, I grabbed these pictures because this was during, well, I should say not, I don't know. They've been recording for a while. Obviously, you see 36 minutes and 52 seconds right here on the recording. But during the recording, the temperature changed 9 degrees within a matter of just a couple of minutes. It went from 38 degrees. And I grabbed this one picture.
47.
Yeah, it was at 38 degrees. It says right here they were doing the little the words coming up there on the screen. So we went from 38 degrees to 47 degrees in a very, very, very short period of time, just a couple of minutes. And then when it was all done, when the chant was over, it went back. It went back to like 41 degrees or something like that. It changed and went back the other way. How do you explain something like that? How do you explain that?
It changes so quick too. I mean, it was
It
almost
did.
like the minute they started to chant, you could see things starting to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It started to change almost immediately, you know, and it did not take very long to make that change. And then it went back. So when they got done, I think, I didn't get a picture of it, but when they finished up with the chant, the temperature went back. I think it went back to 41 degrees or somewhere thereabouts. So that's just too crazy. And it happened during the chant. So, I mean, again, we got to get more data on this because things just don't happen that way.
We need to know more about the chant too, or maybe they need the rabbi to explain where he got this from or what history is behind it too.
That's an interesting question right there. You're right. Yeah. What exactly, and what does it say? What is in
how
there?
many generations does it go back, or what's right, or anything like that?
That's a very good question. Yeah. We're going to have to see if maybe Thomas will know, maybe, or we jump over on the, there is a couple other Skinwalker, regular Skinwalker Facebook pages that are really, really interesting. And you guys may already be members of those already. I know that Thomas talks in a couple of them quite a bit. So that's a very good question. I'd like to get an answer to that. Exactly what is in that chant? What's that chant? Where did that derive from? Where did he come up with that? Yeah, so interesting. Let's see. All right. So, and this is about the time as they're going through this experiment. Now, Thomas and Caleb went on down the road a little ways away from Homestead 2. They went down the road just a little bit, and they were actually watching with a thermal imaging camera. And Caleb had on a helmet with the thermal goggles on, or at least one, and he was watching that area as well. Now, all of a sudden, you see Thomas sees a light that's flickering or strobing on the back side of the house, on the corner of the house. And that's this picture here. Now, of course, here's a picture of a thermal imaging camera at nighttime. It's hard to see what's going on. But I think I'm correct in this. And this right here, as you remember when they put that round thermometer in the window, and then they had the little clock in front of it, and it had a light there. And I believe that light was still on during the time that they were doing this test. And I believe that's what this is right here. I believe that's that light showing on that thermometer that's in the window. So, because people will say, oh, well, maybe that's the light you're seeing right here, this one. And it's not. This is on the back side of the end of the building would be somewhere right in here. And he's seeing that light outside the building, on the back side of the building. You can see it very clearly, and there it is right there. I tried to take a couple pictures because it was kind of fading in and out. It wasn't like moving or anything like that. It was fading in and out, and it was staying in one area for quite some time. I was just looking at Tom. Tom says, for the temperature to drop, you either have to induce cold or eliminate heat. Neither is easy to do. Exactly. Thank you, Tom. You're exactly right. It doesn't happen like that. And for that temperature change to happen that quickly, both when the rabbi was there in person doing his chant and on the recording in the chant, for it to change that drastically and that quickly, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen naturally, as far as I know.
And it proves it doesn't have to be live for it to happen.
Obviously, right. Just the recording did it.
Just the recording made it go the same exact thing all over again.
Yep. So yeah, this anomaly, so this light anomaly they found right here that he saw, and then they went chasing after it, was really pretty interesting. And then as they came back over, here's this. They came back to the house after and I took some pictures of it, but the pictures didn't really come out. I mean, it was, you could see them standing in the in the dark, and there's a light where their flashlights are and all that. We can talk about that because they chased this thing. I think I got a picture of them looking out the window. They were looking out the window of the house. You see, here's that other thermometer. It's hanging up right there. This one was hanging on the door going in.
I think they had that on a nail, if I remember, Jeff.
Yeah, it was hanging on a nail or something right here. Yep. And here's where they saw something out the window out of the back looking into what he called the backyard. They saw some sort of anomaly back there, and it was moving. At this point, it's moving. And Thomas says, boom, he's bolting out there so he can go get a look at this up close. Travis has given him directions, and Travis is seeing it through his thermal image, because he asked him, he said, well, how did you see that, with the naked eye or what? He said, no, the thermal imaging camera. And he's looking at it. He can see this thing out there. So, Thomas takes off on him. He bolts off to go check this out. Now, before I get to that further on, I want to show one more thing. Okay, we got this here that fell on the ground. Okay, and I wanted to go back to the picture where they had mounted it real quick. There it is here. Now, something I wanted to point out here. This is where they had it in the windowsill. Now, what I wanted to show on this was, and because somebody could say, well, the thing just simply rolled off of there. Maybe it was, windy and it blew or whatever. But I wanted to point out one thing here, or a couple points here. One, you see it leaning up against, it's up against the window frame right here. It's up against the window frame right here. Now, and it's leaning against this part of the window frame that's on the inside by the wall of the house right here. That right there, the way it's sitting kind of in this up against both of these at the same time is pretty daggone stable right there. And the fact that it's kind of leaning up against this one right here, and you can see that it's beyond, it's not on the outside of it, leaning on this outside edge, it's actually inside of it. That's going to keep it from wanting to roll that way into the house.
And look at the angle that it's on also.
And the angle, right. It's not in a position to roll off of that ledge into the house. It just isn't. And it wasn't windy. You could tell by, the surrounding area when they were setting up, it wasn't windy. So, I mean, that's not, I thought, well, let me take a look at that and see if that's in a precarious spot where it's going to easily roll off of there. It's not. They've got it set in there in a very good spot. So what made that thing come, roll off of that and land on the ground right there? I mean, is it possible? Yeah, I guess it is. It's possible that it could have fallen off there, but it wasn't likely, in my opinion. The way they had that securely set there, it was not going to simply roll off in that kind of fashion. So what knocked it off of there? And why didn't they hear it? I think hitting that spring, I think it would have heard it.
Yeah.
I think so. Now, granted, they were standing quite a ways away when they were over there by and I don't know if there's what's running over there to give them power to run all that stuff. I don't know if there's power over there or not. They never did describe that, or if say there was a generator.
Generators or I think the other thing is that Guy Blocker was just so baffled by things that were going on. He did not have any clue or explanation or anything.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat, man. My chat is still not, I'm gonna reset my Facebook, I think, here in a minute, because it's still not changing over here. So I don't have any names, but I'm just looking at some of the stuff here. It said, somebody said, or come to Maine, we're going from 90 to 50 in record time. Yeah, but not in a few minutes. Like that. Yeah, exactly. I know. Somebody said he had, huh? What's that?
He was staring.
Oh, okay. Somebody here said he had guts chasing a possible spirit, or whatever it could have been. I mean, he goes bolting off into the backyard there, a Texas-sized backyard. Somebody else said a Texas-sized backyard. And he goes bolting off. You don't know what that thing is. Yeah, it's hard to say what it is. Okay. Oh, yeah. As Linda was telling me that I'm going to try to refresh, and what'll happen when I do this? It might. Let's see if I can. Okay, there's more. It might work for a minute or two. We'll see what happens. Okay. There, I got to mute it. Okay. All right. Now I see a few more. Oh, I see. Deborah she said, I just asked Tom Winterton if they had a paranormal person on the ranch, and he said because of the NDA, he can't say, but stay tuned. Sweet. Awesome. Way to go. Well, see, that's why I want to have him on at the end of the season, Deborah, because then he can talk about anything that's been aired at that point, right? So I really want to know that.
Dreaded NDA.
Yeah, I know those dreaded NDAs. Doggone it. Anyway, so that thermometer, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, by the way it was leaned in the corner there, right? The way they had it nestled right in that corner against that, and inside the lip of that, it wasn't easily going to just roll off of that and fall on the floor. It just wasn't. And again, that's my opinion, but I really don't think that it was in a position where it was going to roll off. And you know that those guys, that Thomas and Caleb, are not going to just wing it and just throw it up there and they're going to put it in a position where it's not going to fall off. And that's why they were so amazed that it did. They're not going to, they're going to take time to make sure it's up there securely. Is secure. I mean, could they hung it on a nail? Sure, I guess they one on the outside of the house was, but I mean, they had it in a good spot, and they wanted to have it where they could actually see it from the outside. So, cannot confirm or deny exactly, Tom.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
We've been there.
What's that?
We've been there before.
Oh yeah, we have. I know. Yeah, Curse of Oak Island stuff. You're right. We've been all over that. We hear that a lot over there. Yep. I don't know. Somebody asked a question. Let's see. Oh, it was Linda. I wonder if Travis really left that light in the window with the thermometer. That's the light that they carries around with them. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Well, that's another question that we need to, or Thomas, we need to ask. We need to ask him and find out. If he did, that's why I was thinking in that one picture. Whoops, I passed it already. In this one, that's why I was thinking that was it right there. I thought that was the light in the window, but I could be wrong. But that they're not going to mistake that light in the window for that anomaly. That if they're looking over here, they know what they're looking at, and they know because they're not standing that far away. They're standing on the road. They're not that far away. They're not going to mistake it for the light in the window. Oh, look, there's an anomaly, and it happens to be the window, the light. That's not going to happen. They know those guys are pretty darn smart. So, all right. So here you are back at that one. And then that's when they see the anomaly. And of course they go running out there. And then Thomas, he's looking on his thermal image, this front looking IR camera that he's holding in his hand right there. And he's looking out there and they're trying to see where it's going. This thing that Caleb's got with the military helmet and his night vision goggles right there, man, I would love to have a set of those. Oh my goodness, that would be a great paranormal tool too. I tell you what, I'd love to have one of those. I can't imagine they're very cheap. But anyway, so they go running off out there. They go chasing this thing towards the. I don't know if it was running towards the irrigation canal. They were running across that open field, trying to get underneath through the barbed wire fence, and Thomas, I think he just jumped over it. And then here's Travis with his parka on, but I mean, it's cold. I mean, it's getting cold in the desert there. It's high desert, and it does get cold, just like Reno is high desert. So anyway, he goes bolting across the field out there, chasing after this thing, and again, fearless to chase after it like that. You don't know exactly what this thing is, but they wanted to get a good look at it, and they end up getting all the way down, and they see movement in the thicket, and then it gets thicker and thicker, and then they just have to quit and then chasing after it because of the fact that it was in this area where they just couldn't get in there because it was so thick with brush and whatnot. So they had to back off and give up the chase at that point. But man, and we never really got a good look at it. And he was talking about a 6 foot, a blob. Yeah, he called it a blob, like 6 foot in diameter. I mean, that's huge. I would love to have seen it on camera or something, but man, oh man, that's
And how did they get back in that thicket so quick and everything else?
yep.
Being that big around and everything else.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually looking at Jan's synopsis here that she put together. She's got some good notes in here. Yeah, he said Travis noticed that something was moving in the field with the infrared scope, and it appeared to be a blob, and it was near the fence line. He was calling out to Thomas to let him know. They head toward the fence, and then Travis ends up following. Yeah, Thomas describes a 6-foot diameter blob that started moving sideways and then disappeared into the trees. You know, we didn't see it on camera, but you know what? These guys aren't lying about this stuff. There's people that say, "Oh, they're just making all this up." No, I really don't think so. I don't think that that's going to happen. So
that was the history of that ranch.
No, exactly right. That's too much has gone on over there over the years. And like I said, the more you watch this show and the more you analyze all this stuff, like we've been talking about, there's just some really, really strange phenomena happening out here.
I mean, I admit I've gotten very interested. I've gotten very interested in it as it's gone along.
Yep. I have too. For sure. Yeah, I refreshed it and I got a refresh of the chat, but I'll do it again real quick.
Linda said you use your phone or your tablet.
Yeah, I know. I could fire it up, but it's not. I can see when the stuff comes up. Oh, Wanda's here. Hi, Wanda. It's Travis from Alabama. Yeah, I think he is actually. Yeah. Let's see. Who asked that question? Oh, Linda did. I wonder if the light is in the window, I wonder if it puts off heat that would affect a thermometer. Good.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Well, here's where they're wrapping up. In this picture here, they're starting to wrap things up. They've collected a lot of data. Barb says there's too many unexplainable events. Yes. You're exactly right. There's just too many unexplainable things that happen out here that there's just too many weird things that happen out here at the ranch. Yeah.
More questions than answers.
Yeah. So the next morning, they meet up and they get inside the command center there, and where all the I just love that room with all the stuff. I'd love to have a studio set up like that. Maybe I will when I move downstairs. I'm going to move down into my family room down there, and I'm going to set up the studio down there much cooler because man, it's hot up here right now. But maybe I'm going to try to set up like a command center like they got. That's awesome. I just love that thing. But all the electronic technology that they have in there, just phenomenal. I just love it. I grabbed this picture. This was one of the first ones that Eric Bard showed them when they got inside the command center. And he said, look at the hill over there. Now, this is down toward the end of the ranch. I'm trying to think of what side of the ranch this is on. I know they said it. Help me out, somebody that would remember. But this is that ridge that they noticed lit up, and they were watching the beam of light shooting up in the air from over here. This was where a lot of activity happens on this one ridge where they were getting the reflectivity and everything else. He showed him this picture. Now, I know it's hard to see on here. It was really hard to see, and I was trying to capture a good picture of this for you guys. But you can see right here along this ridge right here, it's lit up. Remember how it did that last season? When they were there last season, right here along this ridge, it lit up. It was very well lit last time.
They were doing laser beams, if I remember, or something last year.
Well, that was before the laser beams, but that was that one night that they spent out there. And then actually Thomas ended up getting a little bit of a headache, and he had to leave. He wanted to leave then too. But right here, you can see it lighting up right here along this ridge. And then right here, you can see it here as well. Right along there. What causes that? I mean, what in the world is causing that to happen? Right along the ridge right there. And this was during their experiments. I
mean, there's one related to the other. I mean, it's really I mean, is everything tied together, chain reaction wise?
Mm-hmm. It is. You're right. It is. When one thing is happening, there's multiple things happening at the same time in different parts of the ranch. Which direction of the ridge? I want to say it's. I want to say it's north, but help me out with somebody. Somebody look at that real quick and tell me: is the ridge on the south side of the property, or is that the north side of the property? I want to say it's the north, but east west. But okay. Thank you, Larry. Larry's going to double check real quick. Charles says, couldn't the whoops, it jumped on me. Couldn't the signal be coming from the ground? Military tunnels, military experiments? Yeah, it could be. They're not ruling that out at this point. There's some they think there might be some sort of a structure or something underground that's causing things like this, and it could be.
And there's great hesitancy to dig down right now. Still,
I'm sorry. What was that?
They don't want to dig down right now. There's just a consensus that digging down is not a thing that they're looking at. I think Brandon pretty much said that also when he talked to him.
Let's see. I want to see. I want to see from the other side of the ridge before I'm convinced. Yeah, and I've thought about that too. It does get flat up there for a little ways, and then if you look on the, if you just like bring up a Google map or something, you can see that there is stuff over there. I don't know. It's obviously you're getting some light right here in the clouds are being lit up, but that's even if that light is on that side over there, you're looking at their side of the ridge here. That's on their side. That's on the side they're on. And you can see the top of the ridge right here. So if it's light that's coming from the other side, then how would it be showing up here on the top on their side of that ridge? That's the question right there. That doesn't make any sense. So the light would have to be coming from somewhere behind them to be able to reflect like a car coming down the road or something like that. But they would see the car coming down the road. In a car that far away, there is no road over there because the road comes in a different spot. So, with this being lit up, that's just a weird phenomenon right there that needs to be looked into. But you're right. I mean, I would like to see. It's for sure not a gas flare. That's correct. They've been all over that. That's for sure. They take magnetic readings. Don't know if they double check the whole ranch. I'm sure they probably have. I would assume, but again, that's an assumption.
And it's not, but they know not a spotlight too. They've ruled that out.
Yes. Yep. Could all this radioactivity, active issues have long-term effects? Yeah. Long-term exposure.
That's a question for Thomas, I'm afraid, when we have him on.
Yeah, I know. And Thomas has been through his gambit of things already. That guy has come close to death. With some of the issues that he's dealt with. And for him to go back there and still be on the ranch and still do this work, that shows you the passion he has to get some answers, with the physical health issues that this has caused him. He's dedicated to wanting to get to some answers.
He lives around there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yep. He's from the area.
He's doing it because of his neighbors and everything else, he said.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. That's where it all started. You're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, he did say that. I remember him talking about that. Isn't there a town on the other side of the ridge? I don't think so, but look, somebody check out a Google map real quick, or I can here in a few minutes. I can bring one up and take a look at it. Here's that right after that happens. When they were showing the black. Or the ridge with the glowing, areas on it. Right after that happens, Thomas comes bolting into the command center there, and he starts talking about the fact that his internet, he got kicked. He got a warning on the internet saying that they were being hacked or something was trying to get into the internet system. And then he got disconnected. He was disconnected off the internet. Now, the internet, I think, is still running at this time because you can see that they've got, and I'm assuming that they're using the internet to get this. This is all the aircraft data of aircraft flying private and regular commercial jets and stuff. Thank you. Flying over the area all here. That's still running. So they're still connected to the internet in some way, I would think. But that's when, right after he says that, then they go and they look up here. They go in here and then Travis notices the radio transmissions that are happening, and he points that out on this screen right here. And again, I just love this command center. Try to duplicate that. But he brings this up and he's showing this across the spectrum. Now you're seeing a lot. Some of this is noise, but you're seeing signal from a large spectrum right there. And I've talked about this before, and he recalled going back and listening to this or picking this up last season when he was woken up in the middle of the night by the dog barking. I think the dog was barking or something. Yeah. So he got up and he was checking it out to see, and then he ended up going back inside and he turned on his equipment and he saw these radio signals going over such a broad spectrum of radio frequencies all at one time. And that's just not right. I mean, that's definitely something's happening there, and they would not be pointing this out if it was just a common, it's just a common occurrence or whatever. No, it's not a common occurrence. There's definitely something weird happening here. And this shows you that. So then there's some more pictures. Oh, this is something I wanted to point out. Somebody on the chat I saw this on the Skinwalker Ranch page, which I'm a member of, and I was reading some of the stuff over there, and I believe this was brought up today. They were talking about this particular. This is a picture that was taken from 2019. So this was last season's pictures and stuff. But they said, did you guys notice the something that flashed across the screen in this picture? I went and grabbed a picture of it. And they showed this last night. They did show this because you see right here, it was season 2, episode 5. It was the they replayed this real quick, and I know I got my screen paused right here, and I got that on there. Sorry about that. But here's what I wanted to point out. This was somebody had mentioned this, and they said, did you see that orb or something? And they're talking about this right here. I believe this is what they were talking about. And this is kind of strange. It might be a bug. But right here, if you run this, if anybody wants to go back and check this out, see what you think, and go back to this section, you can see where I'm at. I'm about halfway through the video. Right here, you can see my little dot here where it's playing, and you can see. Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Glad you were here. So you see this little thing right here. Now, if you're go back and play it for yourself from the app, and watch this, and you'll see this thing. It comes out of nowhere. There's nothing there. All of a sudden, boom! Here's this dot, and then it streaks away. And I grabbed that shot. Zip! Right there it is. And it streaks away. It could be a bug. It might simply be a bug. I don't know. But that's pretty weird. And I don't know what it is. I really don't know. It could simply be just a bug. But if you watch it when it happens, now the still picture is kind of hard to catch, but if you watch it when it happens, it's like nothing's there, and all of a sudden, bloop, there it is, and it zips away real fast. And they were talking about that. Oh, it's just a bug or whatever. And it could be. I might be completely off base here, but it was kind of cool. And I noticed that somebody had, and I don't remember their name, or I acknowledged them for what they brought up, and they brought that up in the Skinwalker Ranch. But I just thought that was really cool. It definitely was there, and you see it right there. It just shows up and then zips away in a streak. I don't know. Hard to say what that was. But anyway, I wanted to show that real quick. Travis runs into his trailer, and that's what he was running back over to his trailer so that he could get a look at. They got this directional antenna set up for him so that they can pick up when they're picking up all these weird signals like that. He can try to turn the antenna and find out his directional antenna, find out where is it coming from, what part of the ranch is it coming from. Now, and initially when he started doing that, he was finding that it was coming from southeast or something like that. Southwest, yep. And then a couple moments later, it changes. I don't have all that unless it's in the notes here. I didn't.
It did change. It did change again.
It changed a couple times. So it was coming. Oh yeah, signal's coming from the southwest. Here I see it is in her notes. And again, thank you, Jan. And then the signal moves to the due north, and then moments later it moves due west. So why is it changing? And that's exactly why they set this directional antenna up so they could see they could pinpoint where it's coming from because they want to know where in the heck is it. And if it would have been steady coming from one area all the time,
they could go to it.
They could go there and find out. But with it moving around, how in the heck are they ever going to figure out where it's coming from if it's changing like that? That's just I don't know. Again, that's one of those crazy phenomena that if it was coming from that blob, that orb or something, and that orb's moving around, of course they're not out there, they can't see it at the moment because they're all inside. But isn't that weird? Just again, it's one of those things. It's just one of those things that's just unexplained at this point until they gather more data. So, yeah, let's see.
Thomas lives about 3.7 miles away from the ranch. He's pretty sure.
Yeah, 3.7 miles away from the ranch on the other side. That's where Thomas lives, I think. Okay. All right. So, yeah, 3.7 miles away. It's not. Well, it would definitely give you that glow in the, if it depends on how many lights are there, it would definitely give you that glow over the ridge there. But again, as I was saying, that glow is going to be on the backside of the ridge. It's not going to glow. It's not going to make it up on their side of the ridge. That light has to be coming from somewhere else. And so it's make its way over and be on that side. It's going to be shadowed on that side. And it's showing up on their side. The glow's coming from the other side. So that's still a weird phenomenon that's happening there. Yeah. So anyway, then he's got these things, and it's really hard to kind of get a good idea of what's happening here. But he's looking at, I think what you're seeing is all this right here is your background noise. I believe this is. But all these spikes right here are signals that's happening in that frequency range that's going across here. This is 100 megahertz up to
50 megahertz or 700 megahertz. It was all over.
Well, he had some different ones going. This is 100 to 101, I believe, megahertz. But you see all these signals. There's a lot of them happening there. And that's when, and Thomas, he starts getting a headache. And thank goodness for this guy. He just says, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And now he's thinking about his own personal safety at this point. And he just jumps in the Jeep and he leaves, which is the right thing to do because, I mean, he's been through this before. He doesn't want to have that, it threatened his life. It really did. I mean, I would do the same thing. As much as I would want to stay there and see what's happening, I would have done the same thing in his shoes. I would have jumped in the vehicle and got the heck out of there, thinking about his own safety. Because this is that image. We've seen this, multiple times now. They show it just about every episode of the damage, the separation of his skull and his scalp, right here happening. That's I just can't imagine the pain that he went through for all of that. I see. I can't even pronounce that. Fort what? I'm not even going to try. It's close to 8,000 people, so a decent sized town. It says it's about 8,000 people, so it's a decent sized town, and it could well work as it was glowing across the backside over the top because the reflection from the cloud. Yes, exactly. And and I can pop back to that picture real quick. Good job. Right here, this glow right here. That's probably what we're seeing right here is this glow in the clouds. It's either the moon is off over there somewhere in some form or not. And but again, that's on the back side of the ridge. That's not going to be on this part right here. Again, Duchesne.
It's for Duchesne.
Duchesne. I don't know.
Duchesne.
Yeah, depending on how low the cloud cover was that night. Yeah, exactly. Just weird how that lit up. Anyway, getting back over here. I just love that one picture there. So, and he bolts out of there. And, of course, the damage that he had. But I wouldn't want to go through that again. Now, here's the one where they're showing the 700 megahertz. And you got a bunch of weird signals happening there. But these signals, I mean, that's just unreal, that they're picking up all those. And even Travis, we saw that Travis started to feel kind of weird as well. Charles says that's not exactly the glow that they are concerned with. Are you talking about the one on the showing up on the ridge that I'm talking about? It's pronounced Duchesne. Okay, thank you. And again, it's hard to read some of these things that's going on here, but these spikes are just not normal. And you see this one here at 700 megahertz is just phenomenal. This is blasting in there right now in this area. That's why he's highlighting this particular area. That's blasting in that area, and it shouldn't be. That's just a weird phenomenon that's happening there. And then all of a sudden, Travis starts feeling weird, and that's what he says right there. I feel dizzy all of a sudden.
Short of breath.
Yeah, short of breath. He lost his train of thought. He couldn't even think there for a minute. He was trying to answer. Oh, I see what you're saying, Charles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the clouds and it wasn't the lights on the clouds that they were concerned about. I think that's what you were talking about there. That's not what they're concerned with. It was the lighting on the front side of the on the ridge, on the top of the going across the top of the ridge. Travis starts getting affected by this as well, and he lost his train of thought. He completely did. He was trying to answer the question, and he just couldn't get it out. And so he was actually stuck there for a minute trying to get that answer out. And they're like, "What's going on with him?" And he said he feels dizzy all of a sudden. And I gotta hand it to Dragon. I mean, this man has been given the responsibility of not only the security around the place, but also everybody's safety. And he goes over there now. Not only is he concerned because Thomas just bolted out of here, but now what's happening with Travis?
And Travis had problems before.
Yeah, yes. And Travis was sick for its radiation sickness for a week or so, and he was laid up and he had burns on his face and all these things have happened to him. And Dragon goes over. He said, I'm going over there because it's his job. That's part of his job. Not only is it his job, but he's concerned because he's concerned about these guys and their safety. So he goes over there and he's telling Travis, basically, Travis, you need to get in the car and you need to leave the ranch right now until this passes. And again, Travis is like, oh, hey, just, let me catch my breath or let me get a drink here. Let me, it'll pass. How hard is that going to be for Dragon to try to do his job and be concerned about their safety? You want to stay, you want to stay and you wait, we got a phenomenon happening right here. I need to record this. I need to be watching this. But that's his job, is to make sure that you guys are as safe as possible, right? What a tough job that's got to be, because you see right off the bat, Travis is resisting, and he shouldn't be, because
it's a wonder he doesn't smile at you too much, really.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What a difficult job that has to be, honestly, to do that. And so he's trying to tell him right there, you need to leave. You need to get in the vehicle and drive off of here for a little while and then come back after you feel better. At least he says, hey, let's go into the silo. And they do have this metal silo right there. And it's completely surrounded by, I don't know it's not aluminum. It's actually probably tin or whatever, but it's a metal enclosed, like a Faraday cage to a degree, that's going to block out incoming signals. Somebody had mentioned, why not? Why he's in the camper right there? Isn't that camper going to save him? The camper is aluminum, and I don't think. Plus, you got windows. He's sitting right next to a window over here off his left shoulder is a window. This camper, in my opinion, fiberglass and aluminum, is not going to give him the same protection as this metal silo right here. I think the signals are still going to be able to penetrate through this camper than they would through this metal silo. Okay. Yes, thank you. The camper has aluminum studs and it's fiberglass.
Right.
So it's not going to give you the protection of this metal silo. So he does convince him, hey, let's go inside here for a minute. Now, as Michelle was saying here, the radio waves and its effects on people reminds me of the damage to our diplomats in Cuba. Really? No known cause. Similar reports of diplomats in China recently too. Oh, I did not know that, Michelle. Maybe you can share that information with us so we can check that out. Let's see what else was happening here. Oh, let's see. what operates in that frequency range. I'm not sure, Tom. You're talking about the 700 megahertz range? I don't know. That'd be interesting to hear that too. Yeah. It's possible, Barb. Barb said the ranch is relatively close to Route 191 and possible pollution from cars. If you're talking about the lighting on the edge of the ridge, if you go out at nighttime and you watch that, if you're in an area where that car lights are going to affect something like that, you would see the movement of the light on the hillside. Even if it's a lot of cars it's like rush hour traffic or whatever, and you've got a lot of cars on there, you're still going to see changes in it. I think at some point, you're going to see some movement or changes in that. And it didn't look like they were seeing that. It was just like a solid light across there. Again, I wasn't there, and we're just looking and watching the presentation that they was given by Eric Bard. But I think they would have tried to do their best to rule that out. Like I said, these guys are very smart men that are out here doing this, and woman with Linda out there as well. So I think they're going to do their best to make sure they rule all that kind of stuff out. It wouldn't be stationary. Exactly. That's my thinking on that. It's not going to be stationary like it was, and it looks very stationary. Yeah. So anyway, getting inside this silo, it was a smart move to see if that blocks it out. He goes inside there, and within moments, he said it was like a switch went off. He goes inside there, and just like that, all of a sudden he feels better, and it's gone.
Okay, I'm gonna ask our viewers a question I asked you before we went on the air tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he went in there and everything was great all of a sudden, but did the radio waves and everything stop at the same time or anything like that? Is there a correlation there?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and you're right, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we don't know, because right after he comes out of it, he said, wow, it's gone. I feel better. And I don't know how long he was in there. He might have, the camera, we're watching this on the TV show. He could have went in there, instantly felt better, but stayed in there for, 30 minutes. We just don't know.
And when he went back to the command center, everything had stopped.
Right. When they get back to the command center, it's all over. The phenomenon is over. The signals are gone. There's no more, great big signals coming in from anywhere. You're right. You're exactly right. All of a sudden, it's simply gone. And
what's the correlation between the timing and everything else? They don't really, that's my question. That's what I want to know is what's the timing? Did he walk in and it quit right then and there, or because it was only affecting him and Thomas already left the ranch?
Right. Yep. Yeah, and he was gone. Matter of fact, that was the very last picture that I had. There was right here. And that shows, they were back in the command center. And again, we don't know how much time passed between being inside the I was going to call it the Faraday cage. Again, that's what I kind of see it as a Faraday cage. You're surrounded by metal like that. But anyway, he comes out of there and he goes back into the command center. And again, we don't know how much time passed, but he goes back into the command center. And then he calls up Thomas on the phone. He says, yeah, it's all clear. If it's all clear, I'll come back, Thomas says. So he's going to turn around. He's going to come back to the ranch now at that point. And it's the middle of the day. So let's see. Charles, what do you say here? I wonder if a longitude and latitude completely on the other side of the planet from Kern is Kern, CERN, in a kind of same location. The Earth could be absorbing the energy and splitting it out on the other side of the Earth. What's CERN? What is that? I'm not sure what that is. I've heard that term before, but I don't remember what it is. Yeah, let us know what that is. I don't know. And you talk about there's the guys talking about there's certain points around the globe that have like energy points around the globe. There's all kinds of stuff that could play into this. Is that is Skinwalker Ranch? Is this basin? The Uinta Basin, is that a place where one of those points are? I don't know. That's something that I hadn't That was on another show that I saw stuff like that. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. It was me. Linda just sent me a little note there. Yeah, it's me, Linda. I'll quit doing that. Let's see. So, yeah, I don't know. Let us know what that is, if you would, Charles. And yeah, it is a good thought. I don't know. It's the particle. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, it's the wow. Well, now wouldn't that be interesting if that had some way to play into this? Isn't that the Hedron? Hedron. I got to look that up now. You got me curious. That's interesting because a lot of people have said they're going to cause some sort of a when they're smashing those and they run the particle collider. They're running those things into each other, and then it could open portals, or they're saying all kinds of. Maybe they have. Maybe they're testing they're doing is causing something. That's a good point. I had not thought of that. I mean, it'd be interesting. Why don't you look into that, Charles? Why don't you research that for us and find out, see what you find out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up now. I'm really curious about that. What that's all about there? Because what was it? CE. I'm gonna look that up real quick. CERN. CERN.
I can tell you did not show much to the next episode.
The Hadron.
I can imagine that a meeting with Brandon is coming up rather quickly. I have a feeling with everybody there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the pictures here. I don't know exactly where this place is. This is located. Okay, let me share my screen again. Yeah, I just brought this up. This is it's the large Hadron Collider. That's what he's talking about. And I don't know exactly where that thing is located. But you're right. They're in there smashing atoms into each other. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. That's an interesting thought, Charles. I don't know. Anyway, research that for us and find out. Let us know what you find out. That'd be curious to see what that's all about. So yeah, that was basically the episode. I did have one more little thing to show here. Yeah, it is buried underground. I know. I'd love to go see that thing, quite honestly. I think that would be really cool. Let's see here. I did have one more thing that I wanted to show. Whoops. This was another little anomaly that somebody had pointed out. This wasn't, I don't think this was too recent, but somebody had pointed out, and I took a little video of this. They had pointed out, oh, did you see the thing that moved on the screen? And this goes back to when they were all, I think this was when they saw the box, when Travis and, thanks, Charles. When Travis and Caleb went looking for that orange, yellowish orange rectangle that they saw, and they went chasing after it. When they first took off they were sitting around the picnic table outside of Travis's trailer there, and they took off and went looking for it. When they showed the outside scene of them leaving the picnic table and running toward the light that they saw, there was something weird on one of the cameras. Somebody pointed out, I think what it was simply a reflection or an image on the camera from the flashlight is what I'm thinking. And I'll show this real quick, real fast. Now, this is Travis obviously talking about it, and then it'll go by pretty quick. So you're going to want to watch up in the right-hand corner of the screen when it gets to the outdoor scene of the camper. Look up here in the right-hand corner in this area here, and you'll see something passing by there really quick. And there it is right there. You see that right there? See that light go by? I'll play that again. Let's see. You see that? I think what that is, if you notice, and I'll stop it right here. Whoops. I think what it is his flashlight. I think it's his flashlight. It kind of moves with the flashlight. So they were talking about this orb, and somebody said, "Hey, that's did you catch that orb going by?" I think it's just a reflection of his flashlight. So if you watch how the flashlight moves, that it kind of bounces with that walking motion, in my opinion anyway. Again, it's just my opinion. But you see that moving and then it goes off screen. As they get further over here to the left, that thing moves further over to the right. I think that's all that was. And I saw somebody bring that up in a group talking about it and saying, it was some sort of an orb or something that flew by the screen. I think that's all that was. Personally, that's again, that's just my opinion. Correct me if you're wrong or if I'm wrong, but I believe that's all that was. So, and again, really interesting episode last night. This show is quite honestly, it really is showing me some interesting stuff, and I'm getting more and more drawn into this as we go along because I really honestly believe that there's something happening out there. There's some strange phenomena happening in this basin. And what's causing it, we don't know. But again, we're looking at all these different things. Charles is coming up with an interesting idea. That basin itself may be working like some sort of a satellite dish antenna of some sort, reflecting the radio signals of some sort. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, that's what this show is about. For those of you that are watching on YouTube and on Facebook and stuff, that's what the show is about. It's for us to discuss these things. I'm not an authority on this. I just want to bring this out, and I do a recap of the episode, and I kind of throw my opinions out there. Flare from the flashlight. Thank you, Charles. That's exactly. I was looking for that word, reflection, flare from the flashlight. But that's what this is about. It's for us to discuss the episode, and I want to hear your opinions. Let me know what you think about it. If you see something on the show that I didn't catch, let's talk about it. That's what we're all about. If you want to call in, great. If you don't, that's cool too. But you can bring it up in the chat and discuss it because that's exactly why we're doing this show. It's for us to collaborate a little bit and share our ideas live, with everybody else. And that's
what in the world?
That's the fun. What's the matter?
I caught a pop-up that came up on me all of a sudden. I don't know why.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Herb says it would be helpful to learn about the I'll put this up here. It would be helpful to learn more about the mineral composition of the ridge and the surrounding area. Yes, it would. I think they did talk about that a little bit, but not much. You're right. And what is in there? Are there minerals in there that would be, more metals or something in the ground right in that area that would help to reflect any kind of radio signals or something? Or is it possible, like the guy said, that there may be something underground that's emanating this out? Remember when they talked about last season when they were trying to put the balloon up in the air and they had the sensors and stuff on the bottom of the balloon and they sent it up there and it got to about that 1 mile high.
1 mile mark and everything went.
And then boop, it stopped transmitting all of a sudden. It was just dead. And the guy that does that all the time had said, I've never had that happen before. Those things keep transmitting until it's, way up in the stratosphere or wherever, he said that's never happened. And it got up to that same point because they were talking about it, the signal seeming to come in from a point somewhere above near the pad, the helicopter pad, somewhere up there that it was happening. And so is there something in the ground? Thank you very much. Is there mineral composition, minerals in the ground that are helping to cause something like that to happen? And that thing's working like a parabolic antenna of some sort. I don't know. That's a good point.
I would also like to know more about the history of what the Indians are saying, because they don't give up information very easily.
No.
And it could very well be information there that would be helpful to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the legends passed down for sure. That's definitely true. This is it's really some interesting stuff happening out here, and I hope they continue this. I hope this isn't one of these shows that we get a couple seasons and it's all gone, because I really want to get some answers. Same thing with the Curse of Oak Island. I want some answers. Now we're going on season 9 on that show, but this one is one of those where I just love this stuff. I really do, and I think they're on to something. That's another gentleman that I'd like to see about getting on here. I don't know. Was that Linda that said that about Larry, the Hughes, the Ute Indian gentleman that was on the show? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But I'd love to see if he would. Yeah, maybe we could get him on sometime and have him come on and talk to us. He has done other interviews, so you can certainly find him out there, I'm sure, and talk to him about it.
I'd like to have the rabbi on, Jeff, even just learn more, possibly.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It'd be nice to have him come on a Wednesday night like this and maybe talk with us a little bit, spend 15, 20 minutes, half an hour with us. Says Pooch. Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure how that would be pronounced, but yeah, he would be an interesting man to talk to. I just love listening to, and we mentioned that before, how the Native Americans passed down all that information through their heritage. You talk about being legends and stuff, but this is stuff that's passed down, not so much like we would, where it gets changed over the years. I think they hold to the same, like the whole Skinwalkers. I mean, the Skinwalkers was something that was from the Navajo Indians, and the curse that they put upon the Ute tribe because of their interaction with the with the white man coming over and stuff. Yeah. There could be many factors at play. You're exactly right, Barb. That's exactly right. What did Tom say? I don't think ET, Tom said, I don't think ET is causing these events, most likely explainable by some physical phenomenon or combination of them we have yet to understand. Doesn't mean ET isn't checking into it either. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. That you're right. They could be coming over because they want to see what's happening. Maybe this is a particular point of interest on the Earth's magnetic field. Now we know the Earth, does have a magnetic field. Obviously, that's what keeps us alive from the rays of the sun. Otherwise, we just, we'd burn up. So that magnetic field protects us. Is this a place where that magnetic field is strong because of the basin or because of the minerals in the ground or something? And we know that does wave and change a little bit. It does move. Maybe that's why it's stronger at some points and weaker at some points. Or could it be a place where it's weak, where the magnetic field is weak and we're actually getting some radiation coming through that area? That just occurred to me just now. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, obviously. I don't have a PhD to be able to look into that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, though, seriously, in my opinion, of these guys out there working on this ranch, especially Thomas and Travis, both of them have experienced medical issues because of the events that have taken place on this ranch. You would have to say at some point that they've got to be wary about this. I mean, if your health is being affected, you got to be thinking about that in the back of your mind. I would be. And Thomas, yet he goes back out there every single day. He's there, working on the ranch and doing his thing. And Travis, he's there during the time that they're doing their investigations. Eric Bard's there all the time. Caleb and Dragon. I mean, I would go out there as well. I would do it. But if I saw this happening, or if I experienced some kind of medical issue like that,
you'd have to think twice.
I might bag it. And say, I'm out of here. I'm not going to risk my health to figure this out. I'll go back and let somebody else because there are people, as we, somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, there are people that get affected more so than others by those phenomena, by those radio signals, by the electromagnetic interference, by the radiation exposure. Some people are affected more so than others. And maybe
in Thomas's case, the one show he was talking, he already had an obligation because of his neighbors and everything else to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, he did. You're right. And that shows you the dedication that man has. But the whole team, every single one of these guys that are out there all the time, they just have to be thinking about that. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I didn't get a name on this one, but it said, you can't say that radiation burns on your face and hands and skull separation or mind over matter. Those things are real and confirmed. They are. I mean, I guess you could speculate on what caused them, what actually caused them, but, I don't know. Oh no, you didn't. Yeah, Charles said it. Sorry to hog the chat. No, you're not hogging the chat at all.
No, he's fine.
Sometimes I got to be very careful of not letting myself go down the rabbit hole with some things and keep on track. But I'm done with, basically talking about, I have my pictures and all that are done. So we can certainly talk about that if you guys want to. We're at an hour and a half on the show. And, that's why I loved, this is the part where I really love talking about this stuff with you guys. So don't feel like you've robbed it. No, not at all, Charles. I appreciate it very much.
Jeff, the one thing I've wondered, they have only found one spot so far that we've seen where they had the Indian markings and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I mean, if you go back to the other shows that we do, there's always multiple spots. You would think of that in 512 acres, I believe it is.
Yeah, 512. Yep.
You would think there would be possibly more markings somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah, that's and all along that ridge, because that's where they would be doing those. Is on those
caves and everything all along that ridge and everything.
Yep, all along that. You're right. That I tell you what, and there's your Ryan Skinner right there. He's the one that's been researching this stuff. He's the one that found those in the first place. The ones that we saw earlier in an earlier episode when he took them up there and showed him that one. And again, the pictographs or carvings, I was trying to think of the other name anyway, but it being the varnish, the desert varnish, and then they're chipping away at that varnish to reveal the rock at the tan colored rock underneath to give you that so you could pick those images out. I don't know. Really, really interesting stuff there, but you're right. Wouldn't there be more?
You would think there would be more. I mean,
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. No question about the aspect for sure. Those are verifiable facts, as was Tom, and you can't confirm. Yeah, what was he? Verifiable facts, and you can't confirm that can be suspect. You can't confirm that can be suspect. What caused them? Yeah, we don't know, but you're right. That's interesting stuff there. That, yeah. Oh, yeah. That Charles said too about the. That was Caleb's phone. There was a couple of times where not only his, somebody else's phone too. Caleb's was, I think, twice that they've shown his phone just whacking out and just petroglyphs.
Did they ever change phones just to see if
they
never said.
I've had my cell phone, I have my cell phone for years and years and years now, not just this one, but several of them. And I actually dropped it. Finally, I finally cracked the screen on it here just recently. I had to go and have a new screen put on it. But somebody was saying, yeah, get out there to the ranch real quick and see if your phone starts acting weird, because his was all cracked when it was wagging out there. And that was just another one of those weird phenomenon. His phone was completely just running. You see the numbers were going by faster than he could possibly push the numbers. They were going by faster than he could. The numbers were just zipping by there, and they were way faster than anybody could have typed them. That was just weird stuff happening for sure.
And different phone numbers, 911, everything.
Yeah, it was calling.
It was doing everything.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, that was pretty interesting for sure. And again, that's just another one of those weird phenomena that's happening out here. And like I said, for those guys to hang out there and go through this, I got to hand it to them. Every single one of them, from Dragon on down. What a group of guys to be able to stay there and keep doing this. Electromagnetic forces are off the chart. And I think that at some point, like somebody else mentioned there, that could be adversely affect your health. And yet they're doing it anyway. They're out there doing it, day after day, doing this research because of the sake of doing the research and getting some answers. But, oh yeah, Barb said that phone thing reminds me of what happens to compasses in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting thing. They talk about the triangle there on the ranch, to go set up right in that triangle with some equipment and just let it run. They should set up a station right there and just let it stay there the whole time and just monitor it from inside the command center and just see what happens. That'd be interesting. There's got a lot of weird things that are going. I would love to go out there. I'd love to go do a paranormal investigation there as well. But anyway. So, well, folks, that's about it for me. I got just about everything I got. I covered everything I wanted to talk about tonight. And we talked about if there's anything else anybody wants to discuss, feel free to bring it up real quick before we wrap it up here tonight. A little bit early. We didn't quite go 2 hours, but that's all right. We don't have to. Oh, yeah, maybe, let's see. And I didn't get a name on this one, but maybe there are a few markings in the area because Native people felt or knew it was a dangerous place. That's a very
Awesome.
good point. And that's what I had kind of shown about that one marking that they talked about with Ryan Skinner when he was there. And that's another man I'd like to get on this show, talk to Ryan. Another man with so much knowledge and research that he's done over the years, I'd love to talk to him if he'd ever come on the show. I tried to reach out to him, but not that easy. But anyway, he's the one that took him up there and showed that. And I was showing on that rock face. You know, one of them, Travis had said, looked like the Big Dipper. And then there was another one, a mirror image of it next to it. Now, we know that I guess Linda had pointed out to me that the Little Dipper is a mirror image of it, but it's a lot smaller. And it's I don't know how close they are. But the way those two were laid out, it kind of looked to me like it was more of a, I don't know if I got a picture of that. It looked to me like it was making more with them side by side like that. I kind of thought of them being more of a portal. Now, I could be completely off base with that. I'm trying to find my pictures. I've got some pictures of that. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Man, my computer is really moving slowly for some reason.
Around episode 2, I believe, Jeff. I remember correctly.
Yes, here it is. You're right. It was episode 2. Let's see. Yeah, right here. I'll bring this up real quick. This was one of them. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Here. So this is the one where he was, and I got that picture right there. He said this one kind of looked like the Big Dipper, which it does. There's no doubt about that. It does look like the Big Dipper. And this one looked like Draco. This was the one on top. Now let me go back to where those were positioned right here. Now here's the one he said looked like Draco, and it does. It does resemble Draco. There's no doubt about it. And here's the Big Dipper. The one that he said looked like the Big Dipper. But here's this one here right next to it. Now, I mentioned this when I was talking about these episodes when I went through 1 through 4. But this, doesn't that kind of resemble? You can see where it goes down. I wish the camera, or it showed down here, because it kind of looks to me like it also goes around here. Doesn't that kind of look like a representation of a portal? And this would be that he was the gentleman that was out there. God, I don't remember his name. He was in here as well in this episode. He was talking about this. They brought him out. He was a researcher, but he had talked about the fact that this was like about a snake and a snake protecting the portal. And this kind of looked like a snake, in my opinion. And it looked like maybe that a snake was protecting a portal. I don't know. I know that's a wild theory right there, but maybe not any wilder than all the others. And here was this triangle right here coming out of the portal. And that's what they've talked about. Triangles coming out of the portal. I don't know. Am I completely off base with that? Maybe. Oh, Garfinkel. Thank you. Linda's on top of this, man, all the time. She is right on top of it. And here, and Ryan saw that same kind of orb that Stephen talked about. Stephen Wall. He talked about seeing an orb type of thing. That blob, 6 foot wide blob that Thomas said he saw. But yeah, Garfinkel was the one that was there. There he is right there. Alan Garfinkel, archaeologist. He was the one that was talking about that. But that kind of looked like a portal to me. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, folks? Michael Tellinger is a person to look up. Let's see, Charles is saying it. He experienced the same issues when trying to use expensive GPS equipment with Adam's calendar. Something to look into. I have not heard of him, but yeah, okay, cool. Let's say I thought Travis, being a PhD astronomer, probably knew what the Big Dipper looks like, so I wasn't going to question that. Yeah, I know. But he was talking. But the other one, side by side. That's the thing that gets me. Is the other one is side by side? It looks like a mirror image of it. like a horseshoe. And that's why I saw this as kind of like a horseshoe connecting boat. I'm not a PhD, but to me that kind of looks like a portal. And this is either something coming out of the portal or this triangle is coming out of the portal. And they were talking about the triangles coming out of the portal. I don't know. All right. I guess I should get off of here before I get too carried away with myself. But that's what I saw when I looked at this. That's kind of what I was thinking. But again. I don't know, Jeff, but I wouldn't go in there. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's true right there. That's very true, Tom. Being a PhD doesn't make you right all the time. Just more often than the rest of us in your area of expertise, right? In what you've studied and learned over the years. It makes you right more often than the rest of us on that type of stuff. All right, folks. Hey, I've had a great time tonight. I hope you have too. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us here tonight and going over some of this discussion. We really, really appreciate it. That's what this is about. As I said earlier, this is why I do this. This is why Jack does it. We do it because we enjoy the interaction with you guys and discussing things that we really enjoy to discuss. Like the show here and all of that. This we also talk about on this show and in our group. We also talk about Beyond Oak Island. And now that we're off season from Oak Island, the Curse of Oak Island, we're going to be talking about that as well. And that's who we have coming up this Saturday at 2:00. We have Warren Gettler and Holly Remkus, and they were on season 1, episode 6 of Beyond Oak Island, talking about Jesse James and the Knights of the Golden Circle, and the fact that they were burying some money or some treasure down in different areas out west. And Warren's book here that he co-wrote with Bob Brewer. I'm reading this right now. I got a ways to go, but I tell you what, this is, if you guys haven't checked out that book, you should, if you're into that kind of thing. It is a
good read.
Huh?
It is a good read.
It is a good read. You're right. And it's got factual stuff in there. It's not just somebody's, idea.
I have not finished reading it yet, but
I haven't either. Yeah.
You got to go through it. I mean, you got to take your time going through it to get the names and everything else.
Yep. And I have both of them coming on this Saturday at 2:00. They're going to join us here on the show. We're going to be talking about Jesse James, the Knights of the Golden Circle. We're going to be talking about the research, the stuff that Holly's the ground researcher. She's been out there going over all the stuff and looking for symbols in the rocks like this one right there, that talk about the symbols that were created by these people to say, hey, there's treasure, go this way, go that way, look under here or whatever.
You want to see some of her pictures on our page. She's got some beautiful pictures.
She does. She has some really great pictures. Holly Remkus and again, Warren Gettler this Saturday, 2:00 right here on the show. We hope you guys join us for that. It's going to be great. We got Christian Roper coming up down the road. We got Gretchen and Sean Williamson from Team Templar North America coming up on the 26th. We got a lot of good stuff keeping us going over the summer months. And we're going to be bringing back some of the folks from Curse of Oak Island as they're on the island, finally getting started, doing some filming. So we're really excited about that. Hey, keep the chat going, folks. Keep the good stuff happening on the page. Keep it lively. Keep it friendly. And we'll see you hopefully on Saturday at 2:00. Hey, everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye now.